Thanks, Angie. That's a great introduction. Look, as Angie said, this is the first time at this conference on the Gold Coast, so let's hope we can be one of those success stories that I've heard about over the last couple of days. So, who is AusQuest? We're a junior explorer, but with a big difference, which I'll get to shortly. Our next 6 months are chock-a-block full of activity, including a number of drilling programs, both here and in Peru, where we have been actively exploring now for a number of years, looking for porphyry and manto copper. As you can see from this slide, we have multiple projects, which can be a bit confusing, multiple drilling programs, which can certainly affect our share price, and multiple opportunities for success. So we think as a junior over the next 6 months, you should keep us on your watch list. Disclaimer. Back in 2017, we signed a strategic alliance agreement with South32, who at the time were looking to add a greenfields exploration component to their growth strategy to complement their success in acquisitions. The agreement was designed to help us make a Tier 1 discovery that could be developed under the South32 banner by providing us with funding to advance projects that they considered had Tier 1 potential. Under the agreement, they have exclusive rights to all our projects and can earn a 70% interest in each by spending $4.5 million US per project. They can increase this equity to 80 by completing a PFS. This would leave AusQuest with 20 to 30% equity in a Tier 1 development, a fantastic outcome for our shareholders if we can pull it off. Work programs are recommended by AusQuest, and decided after consultation between the parties. South then provide the funds to complete the agreed programs that we manage. For this work, we get a management fee equal to 15% of the total expenditure, which in turn helps cover our operating and administration costs. Over the past 5 years, they have provided in excess of $25 million for exploration of our projects. We are very proud of our alliance with South and have an excellent working relationship with them, which hopefully will eventually benefit both parties. Long may it continue. Now looking at the projects, under the alliance we have 4 projects in Australia, 3 in the west and 1 in Queensland, as well as 3 projects in southern Peru. In WA, we're exploring for copper, gold and nickel at Balladonia, which is located in the Fraser Range region, and nickel-copper PGEs at our Morrissey and Jubilee projects. Jubilee is a recent addition to the alliance, with initial exploration coverage, a big EM survey about to start there later this month, whereas Morrissey and Balladonia are already at the drilling stage, which I'll touch on shortly. As well as alliance projects, our technical team continue to generate new ideas and new projects, which we secure under title and then work up to the point where they can be presented as new opportunities for South to consider. So far, the Alliance has explored a total of 8 projects in WA, 1 in Queensland and 4 in Peru. And we still have 7 of those that are under active exploration, with a few in the wings that we're trying to get into the system. One of these projects is Balladonia, where we recently completed some diamond drilling. We think Balladonia could be an exciting new development for the company, as we believe we have identified similar-looking rocks to the so-called lode packages that host deposits like Cannington in northwest Queensland and Broken Hill in New South Wales. It's still early days, but the signs are very encouraging so far from the limited amount of work we've been able to complete. On the right-hand side of the slide, you can see the magnetic and gravity responses that were drilled during this program. And on the left-hand side, you can see how abundant and extensive the magnetic targets are within this untested area, no work done, providing us with a lot of options and priority targets to test. We are waiting on assay data. This has been a very recent program in order to confirm our suspicions. But if this data supports what we can see and what we're thinking, we're optimistic that a new base metal province just south of Fraser Range may be in the offing. At our Morrissey project, we are currently in the process of obtaining the necessary clearances to enable us to drill test targets within the next 2 months. The targets have strong similarities with the Julimar nickel-copper PGE discovery made by Chalice Mining a couple of years back, just to the north of Perth in WA. This deposit is hosted within ultramafic rocks which display strong magnetic character, similar to the magnetic responses we've defined in our Morrissey project. The original discovery holes were sited to test an EM target associated with this mag intrusion, and we are planning to do exactly the same thing where we are, hopefully with a similar or even a better result. The Morrissey project is located about 500 k's north of Julimar, within what has been labelled the new West Yilgarn nickel-copper PGE province, defined by Chalice actually, and supported by us. This slide shows detailed magnetics acquired by our helicopter EM survey, which also detected our targets, EM targets that we will be drilling within the next 2 months. The next slide shows the coincident mag, EM and soil geochem responses that we will be testing shortly. So here on the left side we have our Sandfly prospect, which has a high conductance EM target within a magnetic host that appears to be cross-cutting the main north-northeast structural trends of the narrower terrain, suggesting an intrusive source, and a highly magnetic one at that. Soil chemistry is located at anomalous nickel and copper in the vicinity of this target, which we plan to drill very shortly. On the right-hand side, we have the Waterfall prospect, which in many ways is very similar to Sandfly, except the interpreted ultramafic parallels the structural trends, and the soil geochemistry clearly indicates that we have ultramafic rocks at surface. So we've got the right rocks, we've got similar characteristics to Julimar, and we'll be drilling those next month. We recently signed up a drilling contractor, which is pretty amazing. They're hard to find these days. It should be on site around the end of July, all things being equal. And native title clearances are happening this week. In Queensland, the Alliance has been active south of the Cannington mine, which is owned and operated by South 32. The Hamilton project is totally undercover, up to 200 metres thick. And as you can see, just to the north of us, there are several Tier 1 copper, gold and lead, zinc, silver deposits, usually close to the outcropping areas of the Mount Isa block, which you can see in brown, but not too many deposits found undercover, where the cover thickens. Like other companies, we know they should be there, the deposits should be there, but it's a matter of where and how to find them. At Hamilton, we have a 30-kilometre long belt of magnetic targets that have had very little attention until we started exploring in that area. The known Tier 1 deposits in the area are closely associated with magnetic iron-rich host rocks, which we believe we have in this area, and our drilling has shown that. The dots actually show where we've been drilling so far. Photo of our operations. You can see the extent of the cover. There's not a lot of rocks to be seen. Clearly, drilling is a key component of any exploration program in this type of terrain. Costs a lot of money. Great to have a big partner with you. Methodical step-by-step exploration, we believe, provides the best chance of success. And in our case, it has to be a Tier 1 deposit, because nothing short of that will satisfy our partner. At Hamilton, we've done systematic mag and gravity surveys, have outlined at least 2 targets that we've been testing. As you can see, the drilling is relatively wide-spaced, especially in the southern area on the right-hand side, where the holes are sort of 500 metres apart. Gives you some idea of the target size we're chasing. And we're trying to identify an alteration footprint, which often accompanies the copper gold and B8 and Broken Hill type deposits that we are looking for. We recently completed 3 holes, 2 in the north and 1 in the south, to follow up results from our earlier drilling, which had shown us that there's a strong relationship between copper and iron-rich magnetic and heavy dense rocks, which the gravity and mag map out. This program has only just been completed, and as we speak, the samples are being sent to laboratories, and we hope to have those results probably later this month or in July, depending on turnaround times. We're also planning downhole EM in each hole because that expands the search radius by anywhere up to 100 metres. Some will say more. So this is a quick trip around the world for you. We now go to Peru. We have 3 projects under the Alliance in Peru, which is shown in red, and we have our own projects in green, which we hope to advance to new opportunity status under our agreement with South. Approximately 30 drill holes are planned between now and the end of the year for a total of something like 10,000 metres of RC drilling, starting at our Parkour project, and where access preparations began last week. The dozers have moved in. It's quite rugged terrain, so we need to prepare access for the rigs. The copper pedigree of southern Peru, where we have focused our efforts, is clearly evident in this slide. At Serra de Fierro, drilling has confirmed widespread copper in the area and recognised potential for porphyry copper within an east-west corridor that defines the contact between batholithic intrusions, deep intrusions to the south, and younger volcanics to the north. It's a structural contact. This is a common geological setting for large-scale deposits along the coastal belt of South America. Geological mapping and rock chip sampling has identified at least 4 priority targets that we will be drilling this year. Anomalous pathfinder elements, including moly, bismuth, tellurium, arsenic, and a few others, as well as recognition of abundant pyrophyllite, which is hard to say, but this is a high-temperature indicator mineral telling you you're getting close to the centre of the porphyry system. These have been used to outline our targets. Target 1 and 2 occur along this structural contact. Both prospects contain extensive outcrops of advanced argillic alteration, which is shown, you might see in yellow, and significant occurrences of pyrophyllite, which reflects proximity to porphyry centres within the broader alteration halos. Outcrop within target 4 is a lot more limited, but still contains significant quantities of pyrophyllite and anomalous pathfinders, suggesting multiple porphyry intrusions or possibly large porphyry complex in this area. Highly anomalous copper values up to 0.8% have been found within this limited outcrop at target 4. Target 6 to the north is almost totally undercover, and we'll be drill testing a mag target that we think is either potassically altered part of a porphyry or copper manto, similar to the mineralisation we fit a little bit to the west of this prospect. Permitting, which takes about 6 months, is now in its final stages, and approval should be received around the end of June to allow access preparations to commence in this area. The Maiden drilling program at Parkour, which we completed last year, provided proof of concept for manto copper within the volcanics, extending at least 500 metres away from what we believe is the feeder structure. Parkour is located within a defined IOCG belt in the south of Peru and occurs along trend from the Minajusta deposit, which is a classic manto-style resource that's currently under development. The initial drilling program of 10 RC holes, which is, you'll see at the right-hand side and the left-hand side of this slide, were drilled mainly because of access issues. The access in this part of the world is relatively rugged, and we needed the cost dictated that we would drill on the peripheries of this prospect until we had a proof of concept, and that's what we agreed with South. 4 of the 10 holes drilled hit significant copper. The drill section on the top right shows a relatively shallow northerly dip of of the mineralisation, which parallels the trend in the volcanics. The andesites above are potassically altered, which explains the radiometric anomaly we see in the image. More recent surface sampling in between the areas drilled has highlighted highly anomalous copper values, many in excess of 1% copper at surface within the volcanics. Drilling, which is due to start around the end of July, will be targeting these areas, which extend over several kilometres in strike length. I'm just about finished. So, as you can see, we have this is a time plot, if you like. We have a highly variable and very active program ahead of us, both in Australia and Peru, over the next 6 months, with serious amounts of drilling to be completed, all funded under our alliance with South32. So I hope you'll agree, an exciting time ahead for our shareholders. Oh, you're standing up now. Look, I will finish on that. I'll just leave this one up. That's our capital structure, which you can look at. We have a very small board. 3 of us, 2 of us are here at the moment. Our capex is between 15 and 20 million, depending on share price, but quite a tight registry with some very, very supportive shareholders. So I hope to see you on the share list in the not too distant future. Thanks a lot.